Coming up next, On the Spot. With its launch date approaching today, for the first time, we're playing an Xbox 360 game live in the studio. It's true, 2K Sports is stopping by with the next generation of NBA 2K6. Also, EA Sports will tell us all about NBA Live 06 for the 360, and Planet Moon Studio drops in to infect us with Infected for the PSP. Also, we'll pay a visit to last week's BlizzCon and generally wish we looked as cool with a mustache as Snake. What's up, Doc? Can we rock? We're live and on the spot. You gotta mention the Fushnik.
No.
Was I wrong
No,
with
sir.
that?
No.
Hello, everyone.
That's it.
Welcome on the spot. I'm your host, Rich Gallup. Joining me, as usual, we have Ryan Davis. Hello, Ryan Davis.
What's going on, Rich? What's going on, everybody?
We have a great show for you today.
We have a great, awesome show for you today.
Look what we got on our hands here.
We've got Xbox 360 controllers.
It's not like
we have an Xbox. They're connected to something.
Yeah, it's not like the PC one that we had on a couple
These
weeks
are for
ago.
real. This is it. This is the good stuff.
The good folks, 2K Sports, bringing by NBA 2K6. The very first time we had an Xbox 360 here on the show is now. It is here.
This game looks awesome too, and we're going to see it live.
And we're going to see all kinds of live, and we're going to see some other awesomeness live.
We are. We're going to see zombie legs. These are gross.
These are nasty.
These you can't. I don't know if this comes across, but these are really, really gross and very graphic.
And awesome at the same time.
These are for Infected. Our friends at Planet Moon come by to show us Infected for the PSP, so we're going to show that off, and it's going to be awesome.
And you'll be doing that. I'll be playing some basketball or watching some basketball played. But also we have joining us, as always, Ryan McDonald. How's it going, Ryan?
Pretty good, man. How you doing?
All right. Who are you with? What are you doing today?
I got my good friend Jason Ocampo with me.
Hey, Jason.
And we thought of an excuse to play some Half-Life 2.
Nice. The Xbox version.
That's right.
Yes. It's not like you're busting out the PC version here. We're definitely playing the Xbox.
Just trotting it out. I just want to play some Half-Life 2. Why not?
Sure. But as always, GameSpot Complete members, it's not a show without you sending your questions using the form below on our still pretty new page.
I think it's hot. I think it's very new and very hot.
I have to say it right at the top. We didn't say last week who actually designed the page, and I felt terrible about that.
You want to give a shout out?
Yeah, our man Colin in GameSpot Design.
Colin Oguro, doing it up proper, GameSpot Design.
He does so much great stuff for the site, including our pretty new page. And we also didn't point out that right now, if you're looking at the page, whether you see a black background or a white background, you can change it.
That's crazy.
I know. Well, we'll give you a second right now.
Go ahead and change it. Just hit the button. It's up in the corner.
It's like up.
It says A. It's a black one. There's a white one.
Just hit it.
Pick one.
Do it.
And look, it's totally different now.
Yeah. Well, the show actually has to reload if you do that. So they might be missing this part of the conversation. If you like what you got, stick around.
Anyways, submit questions if you're a GameSpot Complete member. If you're not a GameSpot Complete member, sign up today. Now's your chance. There's no time like the present.
And we're giving away some great stuff later on.
Awesome.
We're giving some games and some passes to game, if you can follow that one.
Nice.
Yeah. But right now,
there's
something that we saw back in Tokyo. I believe is TGS in September. Is that when it was?
Sure.
Yeah. There's a little trailer for Metal Gear Solid 4. And we were disappointed that we could not run it. Now we have it.
We have it.
It is on the site.
It's on the site. We have
it. 25 minutes long.
It is so long.
It is
but it's also really high res. It looks really nice. And I think we're going to show a clip.
I think we're going to show like the first minute of it, because if we showed more than that, we'd be here until like 6.
I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that.
No,
that
you're not.
late.
Now you're going to have to put that controller down.
I also don't want to. I also don't want to do that.
That's all right. You'll be back soon.
Okay.
All right. Cool. Well, here it is. The first minute and like 15 seconds of Metal Gear Solid 4 trailer. Check it out. full trailer, check the Metal Gear Solid 4 Game Space after the show, because right now, Rob Jones, how's it going, Rob?
How you doing, Rich?
I'm doing well, thanks. Welcome to the studio. Thank you for bringing this with you. It's the first Xbox 360 we've had, and this game looks great.
Yeah, we're pretty happy with the way it turned out. It's been a long road, though. You know, it's just a hard time, both for our artists and the engineers, to make this game as good as it's going to be, you know, when you guys see it in a couple of weeks.
Well, it looks gorgeous right now. We're firing it up. Our friend Mike's playing the game off camera for us. Who's playing right here? What's the match we're going to find out?
I think he's bringing Celtics against the Heat. Yeah, you know, obviously we got Shaq as our cover. The guy's a character. We, you know, we had him up at Visual Concepts at the 2K Sports headquarters, and you know, he gave a show, and we got a lot of his moves into the game, and they just look amazing. Some of his celebrations are awesome. That's
actually the first question I have for you, is because actually our cameraman was there, Tyler, our man right there. He was there.
Did he go watch me get dunked on?
And he was recording footage of Shaq doing the motion capture. Shaq came down from a dunk and took Tyler's camera from him and ran around with it. Did that make it into the game?
That part didn't make it into the game, but you know, the move that he did before did. You know, he was showing off for the camera because I think I was trying to talk a little trash to him, and he didn't take kindly to it. So, yeah.
Well, so this is actually your second time appearing on the show, then, because you were the one out there he was doing the moves on, right?
Yes, I was the guy getting abused.
You're actually a veteran of On the Spot without even knowing it.
I didn't know that.
So the game's firing up right here. It looks great. Now, beyond the graphical upgrade, have there been many changes to the game from the Xbox and PlayStation 2 version of this one, or?
Oh yeah, you know, the time that we got afforded us to do a whole bunch of new stuff in terms of adding mechanics to the gameplay that we thought it was already very strong on Xbox. But then on top of it, you know, bringing more animations in, bringing more nuance, fine-tuning things that we found that were slightly off after the game shipped. And trying to make them better. And we also, you know, we always listen to feedback. So a lot of the things that we heard from people, we went back and tried to fix up.
Cool. I'm sorry, I'm totally going to get caught up. It's like watching TV right now. We got the Heat playing the Celtics, obviously. I'm not
You're not a big fan, right?
No, I'm not wearing the Celtics shirt on accident. I was actually on purpose. But so tell us some of the nice, let's just start bragging about it now. This game looks awesome. What kind of work went into making the game look this good?
Well, you know, one of our big things was trying to make the players look, move, and be as seamless as possible. And, you know, the biggest technology upgrade that we saw was to take and create a cloth simulation that ran on everybody. I mean, we've seen a lot of games where you fake cloth, you know, you kind of animate it, you make it look right. But to actually have cloth perform the correct way for all the players on the court and make it perform at 60 frames per second was just a big, huge feat for us, and we're really excited about that.
It looks great. And I'm just going to get so caught up in watching this. All right, let's talk about some of the animations. As you said, you did get Shaq, and you had one of the rookies for the Hawks.
We had Marvin Williams.
Yes.
He's also our College Hoops 2K6 cover boy.
Oh, cool. Great.
Yeah, they came in, they gave us some additional post moves. You know, the great thing about it is Shaq actually gets his own set of moves, and that's one of the big things that we wanted to do, was start creating this simulation of each player plays the way he does in real life.
Cool.
So, you know, you'll see Kobe force a bunch of shots. You see Shaq, you see Shaq do his little do. And all of it, you know, just it kind of feels natural. You don't feel like it's being forced on you.
I'm sorry for laughing that loud about the Kobe joke, but Bob Kaleko, huge Lakers fan, is one of our editors here, and every time he's on, I try to take a crack at Kobe any chance I can.
He's a great player, though. You can't
stop him. Ryan, how are the questions coming? They flying in right now?
They're super flying in.
Need me to fill a little more till you get some?
I got some.
All right, let's hit us.
There you go.
All right, I'm gonna hit up my man John Shockley, who has sent in a slew of questions all by himself, but I'm gonna start with two of them.
Okay.
Question from John Shockley out of Frederick, Maryland. Will we be able to import draft classes from the college games of this one?
Yes. You know, that's one of the big things that we've always, you know, prided ourselves on, is making sure that our two games had this synergy of being able to bring over data from one to the other, and that continues on 360.
John Shockley also asked, will the same camera angles from the current gen game be on this, or are they different, or new ones?
Well, there's a host of new camera angles. We went back, watched a bunch of television, and and try to bring in a little bit more excitement, especially with players that look as great as they do. We want to get close up to the action. So you'll see we have a new baseline cam, a courtside cam. You can basically get into the action from wherever you want. And our holdovers are still there. Those are great playable angles, so we didn't want to lose them.
I got a question from John out of Virginia Beach, Virginia. He wants to know how many players online?
How many players online? 4. I think it's 2 on each machine.
Now, let's talk about the online, if you can, for a little bit. One of the parts that they're touting about the Xbox 360, I know you probably don't want to reveal everything about the game just yet because it's not out yet, but what can you tell us about how this game uses the new Xbox Live?
Well, I mean, Microsoft, wanted us to be able to do just everything that Xbox 360 actually supports, in terms of knowing when a guy is playing other games and so on and so forth. Every single aspect of our online of their online is available, on top of the holdovers of leagues and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm. Cool. My next question is, looking at this game with these graphics, they look great. There are a lot of little details it looks like you guys have been able to put into the game. You talked about the cloth. What are some of your other favorites? Like, for example, the crowd looks extremely realistic.
Well, it's your 3-dimensional crowd that you're seeing. It's everybody's modeled in.
That was totally charged, by the
way. These arenas are modeled to perfection in terms of the detail that they have. The lighting, the bloom. If you watch like lights that are shining up in the side, they'll actually like have the bloom that you'll see on the light when you're looking directly in it. There's all kinds of little things. Ambient occlusion on players is so that when they move a particular way, if they raise their arm and the light can't hit there, you'll see the shadows and the depth. On top of just really trying to recreate these player likenesses, down to the sweat on the player's face, and the sweat accumulates both on the jerseys, both on the face, and you'll see it.
That seems like, actually, I think there's been some jokes around the office. Actually, it seems like that sweat is in full effect on the Xbox 360. And well, it's natural, right?
Well, one of the funny parts about it is, every time I've seen the sweat effect being done, it's like it's way overdone. And people are like, "Oh, that looks amazing." Well, not quite. I mean, I see water pouring down a guy's face, and I mean, it's kind of cool, but we really went for the way it looks in real life. I mean, you're like me, I'm sweating right now. You're kind of glistening most of the time. Right. I mean, obviously it gets heavier later on, and I think that our artists were able to achieve a really realistic look to that effect.
Cool. Ryan, you got some more questions?
I do. Richard Mueller out of England wants to know if NBA 2K6 will look as good on a standard television as a high-definition television.
Oh, I think so. I think that I think that obviously the detail afforded by being at 720p or higher, you really can't get that. But in terms of the quality that we're delivering, the smoothness of the animations and the environments that you're in, it should look quite good.
I've got another question here from Ron Savoy out of North Carolina. He wants to know, will NBA 2K6 for the 360 have a season mode, not to be confused with the association/franchise mode, and will it be able to update the rosters with live?
We've always updated rosters, and I believe that our season mode is not standalone because the association, you can basically end it, and it's been our philosophy that you can basically stop at any point in time.
Cool.
Excellent.
Is that it, Ryan?
I've got one other question from
last one.
Collins Onura out of Minnesota. He wants to know how the frame rate is.
The frame rate is standard 2K Sports, 60 frames per second. It's all we can accept.
Right on.
And it looks great. Anything else you want to talk about the game before we say thank you?
I mean, the biggest thing for us is we were able to deliver this game and not sacrifice anything that we've done before. And actually, we added more animations. We added new mechanics to your gameplay, improved the isomotion system that was in the Xbox version, and just, made it 10 times better. I mean, let's put it this way. I stopped playing the Xbox version the day we shipped it.
Oh, I'm kind of jealous. Well, Rob, thank you for coming by. This game looks beautiful.
Rich.
We have a whole bunch of direct feed HD footage, full HD footage that will be going up on the site later, and we'll see the outcome of your thrilling overtime game between the Sonics and the Cavs. See which number 23 pulls out with the three-pointer at the buzzer.
Oh, okay.
That wasn't you, was it?
That was not me.
Well, Well, thanks for coming by.
Oh, thank you.
Appreciate it. And it's Xbox 360 game, obviously available very soon.
Okay. Yep. At launch.
All right, cool. Can't wait. Right now, though, I want to kick it right over to Ryan and Jason. You guys have been patiently waiting to play some Half-Life 2 on the current Xbox. Am I wrong?
No, you were definitely not wrong.
Do it up.
Excellent. So, Jason, you got a spot all picked out and everything?
Definitely. Kind of early in the game here, Half-Life. You start off kind of on the run from the Combine, who are the new alien menace in the game, and you're trying to get out of what's called City 17. So, right out the bat, again, let me crawl out of this little duct here.
Now, what's the first thing that fans of the PC version are going to notice about the Xbox version?
Well, everything from the PC version that I've seen is pretty much here. So they didn't make any compromises in terms of content. Sometimes they have to scale down the game to make it work on the console. Other than that, the main things are mainly visual. Obviously, the Xbox version isn't going to look as sharp or as crisp as it does on a very high-end PC. But then again, whoops, watch out. Yeah, but then again, you don't have to worry about hardware and dinking around with video cards and stuff. So,
what about multiplayer? They throw that in there?
Unfortunately, no. This Half-Life 2 for the Xbox is single-player only. What Valve is saying is that they've got Counter-Strike already available for the Xbox. So if you want to play some multiplayer that way, you go get Counter-Strike, is what they're saying. And they promise that they're very interested in doing stuff for the next gen of consoles.
I gotcha.
Yes.
I gotcha. So let's take a little more of the Half-Life 2 on here.
Go ahead. Yeah, let me start over here. I'll be a little more careful.
Do you mind if I throw some questions your way?
Most definitely.
Kevin Darnell wants to know, and I think that we already know the answer, but I'm going to ask you anyways. Kevin Darnell wants to know, Calhoun, Georgia, are there any new weapons in the game? Did they add anything at all, or is it just straight PC port?
It is pretty much straight PC port. So, there's not any new content or new weapons, but then generally you have all the good stuff like the gravity gun already to play with, and that itself is a lot of fun to play. And then you have your standard, here's a crowbar and the pistol and such. But, oops, watching this.
Trouble.
Yeah, another thing is they managed to keep the entire physics engine in. Normally that's something that you would, might have killed some CPU, the Xbox CPU, but, everything behaves like it should. It moves like it did in the original game. It's really cool to see. You can knock things around. Explosions hurl guys, and let me see if I can show that off.
How'd they pull the controls off? It looks like you're doing pretty good. Is it weird coming over to a controller?
Yeah. If you've played Halo, you played any first-person shooter on the Xbox, you're going to be very at home with this. A few of the keys are a bit different through the button presses, but it'll take you about 5 minutes before you're acclimated to it. But generally, it feels pretty good. They obviously they made some adjustments to the control scheme so it works better on the console. A little more auto aim, a little bit more generous there. But it works pretty darn good.
Now I know this hasn't been in the house that long, so I don't know if you'll know this one or not. But Angel out of Orlando, Florida wants to know: will you be able to change the sensitivity of the joystick on the Xbox?
Yes, you can in the settings. You can tweak around with. I think the default for me was a bit loose, so you just go right in there and tweak the sensitivity of the sticks, and you're totally fine.
Krython out of New Jersey wants to know how the frame rate is on the Xbox version. I can see it's chunking up in some parts, but it looks pretty solid.
Yeah, it is chunking up a little. Obviously when there's a lot of action on the screen, that's kind of to be expected. There's a lot that goes on in this game, especially with the physics and the AI. But generally, it's within playable. Probably comparable to what you've seen in other first-person shooters that get very busy too.
Right on. Now you're going to stick around and you're going to show us another spot in the game a little bit later, right?
Definitely, I'll show you some of the boat action when you're racing down the canal.
Excellent. But right now, I think we're going to go ahead and take a look at some BlizzCon action, which our man Jim put together. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at BlizzCon.
Last Friday and Saturday, thousands of fans made their way to Anaheim, California to attend the first ever BlizzCon, a convention devoted solely to Blizzard and their games. Fans came from all over the world to see what Blizzard had in store for their future. The main draw was the announcement for the World of Warcraft expansion, the Burning Crusade. The convention had displays and competitions scattered throughout the main hall. The upcoming console game Ghost was also available to play as Terran and Zerg. Many fans showed their support by dressing up as their favorite characters from the many Blizzard games. World of Warcraft Battlegrounds competitions lasted long as players finally got to prove who was the best in Azeroth. But the real draw was the announcement for the expansion to the ever-popular World of Warcraft. the developers were greeted by cheers from fellow players, eager to find out what was in store for them in the upcoming months.
But there's more. Players will get to purchase flying mounts, epic flying mounts and Outlanders.
The new Horde race, the Blood Elves, was unveiled and was playable on hundreds of PCs, just waiting to unleash the new content. Many wondered why Blizzard chose to go with the Blood Elves. Jeff Kaplan was on hand to give everyone their answers.
We picked the Blood Elves for a number of reasons. One, they're an existing Warcraft race. They were integral to Warcraft 3, The Frozen Throne. And we sort of have this master plan for where World of Warcraft is going over the next 5-10 years, where we want to expand it to. So they were a key race that we wanted to get into play. The other reason that we really like the Blood Elves is that thematically they fit onto the Horde. And we really wanted to get an attractive race on the Horde. Notice a lot of the more attractive characters are over on the Alliance side. And not only do we want the player characters to be more beautiful on the Blood Elves, but also their homelands.
At the convention, there were numerous panels every day delving deeper into the minds of the developers and designers. But at the end of the day, the event was really for the fans, and Blizzard had plenty of crazy contests so fans could try to win great prizes.
We're ready, Master. I'm not ready.
Time is money, friend. Power to the Forsaken!
The first BlizzCon seemed to go off without a hitch and left players eagerly awaiting the World of Warcraft expansion pack due out next year.
Wow, very cool stuff from BlizzCon. I'm back here. I'm sitting with Ryan Kaufman from Planet Moon Studios.
Hey.
You're a designer there at Planet Moon, is that right?
That's right.
And you've come by to show off a little game called Infected.
Yeah.
This is an exclusive PSP title.
Right, developed from the ground up for the PSP.
Zombies. Let's cut to the quick here. Zombies. You're here to kill
lot
zombies.
Of zombies. Yeah.
So, real quick, premise of the game.
So it's the raging infection going through New York City, turning everybody into flesh-hungry zombies. But you are immune, and not only that, there's some special component in your blood that if you shoot your blood into a zombie, they explode. Basically, in a nutshell.
Bioweaponry.
Bioweaponry.
You're talking about here. So you're running around and you're shooting up zombies, and we're seeing this right here. It's pretty straightforward in that respect. Is that it's a lock-on targeting system. You find a zombie, you shoot it with a regular weapon until it's weak, and then you kill it off using your
viral gun.
Your viral gun, as they call it.
Right.
Talk to us about what we're seeing here. What's going on right now?
Well, we're in Times Square right now, which is just thoroughly infected with these horrible creatures. And we're going to wear these guys down with a variety of weapons, from shotguns, machine guns. And they're jumping at us. Now they've gone berserk. The zombies have a couple of states. The first state is just they're infected, they're coming after you. When they're berserk, they're like twice as powerful.
That's when they're jumping through the air at you. That's
super angry.
I don't like it when zombies jump. That seems unsettling.
It's
even more than
isn't
just
it?
the living dead on its own.
They're really, they are very kind of.
Now I'm seeing these little red lines that are connecting some of these zombies when they turn red when they're close together. What's that about?
So this is our combo system. If you get enough of these guys together, they sort of form what we call blood ropes between each other. And when you zap one guy, his blood splashes on everybody near him, and they all puff up and explode into a big gory mess.
Blood rope. I love that.
Blood rope.
I just like saying it. Blood rope.
It makes you happy, doesn't it?
That's just really nice and gory. Good term.
So, and the combos net you bigger points and bigger weapons and all sorts of goodies.
So we're talking about combos. We're talking about a pretty arcadey gameplay model here. I noticed that it's like, even with the weapon system, there is a shop where you can upgrade weapons, but it's also like you kill enough dudes, then boom, you have a new weapon.
Yeah, this game is all about instant gratification. We just want to make things as easy as possible for you to ramp up how powerful you were getting, the weapons you were getting. So yeah, it is very arcadey in that sense.
So we're seeing the single-player game here. Can you tell us a little bit about the scope? Like how much content can we expect to see in the single-player game here?
We have a whole slew of missions for the single player, taking you all the way through New York City, the various neighborhoods. We have a medal system, so gold, silver, and bronze. Mm-hmm. So you go back in, if you got a bronze on something, try to earn a silver for bigger points. And then we have a whole multiplayer aspect of the game.
Now,
too.
this sounds really cool. We've talked about this before, the multiplayer game. There's the cool part of you create a custom avatar in your single-player game. You take that into the multiplayer game, and when you beat your opponents, you actually infect their version of the game with your custom avatar.
Yeah.
Now, this has gotten recently. This has gotten more interesting, it seems, because you guys have announced that you're going to have infrastructure support, which means full online internet play
over the internet.
Let's talk about that some. What are we going to see in that that's going to kind of set that apart?
Internet takes the infection totally global. So you're going to be playing your friends wireless, and that's sort of a local experience. You're infecting each other. And then you can go on the internet and infect a guy from Denmark, and then he's going to play somebody in China, and he's going to play somebody in Italy, and so on. And then you log on to the website and track your infection and see where it went.
So you can actually see
like
where your custom avatar is right now.
Yeah,
that's
and
very
you can
cool.
see how many people it got. Yep.
Ryan, you got anything for me over there, question-wise?
I do. I got a couple of them over here.
Why don't you hit me up?
Our good friend Bobby Ola out of Montgomery Village.
Bobby Ola!
Bobby! He wants to know, so far this year there's only been 1 or 2 really good and addicting games, say nothing of the PSP. Is Infected going to keep me interested for months and, dare I say, years after I buy it? Or is it another Death Jr.?
That's a great question.
Hey, so is it like the game that we gave a 6 to? Or?
It's not like that game. No, it's much better. We've been playing Infected for a long time. I don't think anyone in the office has gotten tired of it yet. It's extremely addictive because it's so fast-paced. It is like a crack in that sense, yeah.
Excellent. So another good comparison to make. Very cool stuff.
I've got a couple more over here.
Yeah, no, keep them coming, man.
Kevin Darnell out of Calhoun, Georgia wants to know approximately how many combinations of costumes are there?
There are almost 1 million. We counted them up the other day, and yeah,
that was a long count.
That was a very long count. Yeah.
You didn't have anyone there who was shouting 32, 112, trying to mess you up during that was there. That'd be really uncool.
Really
I'm sorry. Anyways, over 1 million, you say?
Almost 1 million. Yeah.
That's a few combinations, and so we were talking about there's body types, and then there's
right. Yeah, you've got different body types, different colors on those, hair colors. We've got custom Slipknot avatars. Blood Rains in there. There's just a ton of...
So a lot of this stuff, though, you're going to have to unlock. This is not something you're going to have immediate access to.
Right. And when you see people in multiplayer using the cooler high-level avatars, you'll know that they're pretty good, that they've been playing for a while.
Very cool. Ryan?
I've got there's actually a lot of questions are asking about the storyline and how that all works. I'll give it credit to John Muniz out of Corpus Christi, Texas, though. Is there any actual story? What kind of the progression does it offer? Seems like it's a whole lot of action. How do you guys thread the story?
There is a story. It's pretty loose, and we tried to keep it light so that the focus on the gameplay. But you are a cop, and you're the only cop who's in New York who's able to fight this infection. So you have funny interactions with your boss, and they're holed up in a bunker, and you get to hear what's going on with them.
I can say we really can't show it on the show because of content. I will say, Infected, make no mistake, this is rated M. This is M for mature.
M for mature.
So we're no bones about that. But there's some very excellent comedy that I've seen in some of these cutscenes. There's a lot of really funny stuff in there. But the focus of the game is zombies.
Zombies.
You're talking about killing zombies right here.
Yeah.
I've got a question from Emir Gabai out of Israel. He wants to know how are the bosses? Are there many? And once again, he's asking about the storyline stuff. So I guess the question for him would be about bosses. Are there bosses?
Boss fights.
Boss fights, not in the traditional sense, but what we have are various levels of zombies. So you have these normal civilian-looking zombies, and then you have these big giant guys who are way tougher. And you even have Santa running around with a chainsaw, as he does.
Seems almost blasphemous, but excellent.
And therefore perfect for a video game.
There you go. Excellent. Well, Ryan, this looks very cool. Thank you for bringing this on by. I can't wait to see it. When are we going to see this on store shelves?
In about 2 weeks, mid-November.
Mid-November. Excellent. Well, Ryan, thank you very much for coming by.
Thank you.
Up next, what have we got? We've got Ryan. We've got a little tape of NBA Live 06. Is that right?
I believe we got some Half-Life 2 actually with me and Jason Ocampo.
Okay, yeah. Let's do that instead.
Trying to cut me out, man.
He's already got the boat already.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I know. I just want to skip it right past you.
All right. So if you're familiar with the PC version a bit, there's a couple of vehicle sequences in Half-Life, and here's one of the cool early ones. You kind of get an air skiff, and you're racing down the canal to get out of City 17, and you're just basically, in this part, a lot of stunt driving.
This was one of my favorite parts, the PC version.
Oh, yeah. It looks great, too. I mean, you're basically roaring down the highway or the waterway here and running guys over. And doing all sorts of stuff. There's a fair bit of puzzle solving as well. I mean, Half-Life isn't just action. There's, you know, you have to figure things out, and they do a lot of cool things with the physics in terms of puzzles. So you have to figure out how to move things around so that, oops, oh, see. And hey, doesn't that look like a ramp to you?
It does, definitely.
Yeah, so let's turn this around and get this going. But yeah.
While you get that lined up, I have one question for you.
Go ahead.
Now, we were talking about, you know, it's the HD era of gaming, so the question I have for you is, does this have any support for like 720p or anything crazy like that?
Unfortunately, no. We were trying around to get it to run in widescreen, and no, it's just running in standard 4:3 right now. And you know, it's kind of a pity, because if there's a game out there that kind of screams widescreen, it's Half-Life 2, because it's a very cinematic game, very immersive. It never takes you out of the moment.
And it definitely had a widescreen support on the PC, didn't it?
Yeah, it did, if you could run it. I mean, it took a lot of horsepower, and I suspect that's the reason why there's no widescreen on the Xbox.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And one of the amazing things is that if you're familiar with the PC version, it does these mid-level loads, and generally the Xbox has the same number. They don't require more.
Oh, cool.
And so they managed to get the game to stream pretty effectively off the DVD.
Now, for folks that are looking for this, when is it going to be available?
This should be in stores mid-November, around November 15th, I believe. So it's not that much longer.
Right on. I know there's a whole crew of people out there just waiting to get their hands on this game. I know for a lot of people, the specs to actually run the PC version were quite steep. So
yeah, and generally it's this is don't have to worry about it, just plug it in, have fun. Half-Life 2 sequel, one of the greatest games ever made.
Right on. Excellent. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no
really
problem.
appreciate it. You gonna hang out to the end of the show? Maybe.
Definitely.
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I think we're gonna go take a look at some NBA Live 06, and so yeah, let's go ahead and take a look.
Yeah, so working on the player models, I mean, obviously everybody's expectations, obviously ours, but also our fans and the consumers, was that the game just has to look incredible, and it starts really with the players because they're the stars of our game. So we have a lot of really incredibly talented people working on these player models, and it's been almost a developer's dream come true that we're finally able to see all these details in the players, in the jerseys, in just the likeness, the authenticity of the players. And at the same time, it has been somewhat challenging, because now that you have the high fidelity in the graphics, every little flaw that you have, you actually notice much more. But on the flip side, I think we've been able to deliver on what we originally set out to do. Every time when we start out our development process, we create what we call a visual target, where the package says, okay, this is where we like to get the graphics. So in the previous years, we always come somewhat close, but we never really got there. And it's understandable, because there are sort of technical limitations. But this was really the first year where we actually exceeded our visual targets. It starts with just the player faces, just looking out at the incredible level of detail. I mean, just the resolution and the size is just amazing. But looking at how every player, starting from Dwayne Wade over longer hair, and granted there's not a lot of people in the NBA that have longer hair, but again this year I feel we nailed that. I mean, Steve Nash looks really good in the game, and his hair even moves. And so it starts with that, and it goes over to all the different body types, where we have over 25 different body types, and for the first time ever, really, you get a feeling that Shaq is incredibly tall, like weight, or you see Yao Ming, giant 7'5" frame, and you see his really big legs, and that's just, again, like I said earlier, just a developer's dream come true.
Basketball. Both sides of the argument. Two next-gen basketball games back-to-back on the show today.
That'll be available very soon. And on the site very soon, we said earlier, the NBA 2K6, we have a whole bunch of high-def footage that'll be up later. I believe either tomorrow or soon after that. Soon. Say soon. However, today, I have impressions of NBA Live 06.
Yes.
The people that complain that ice is missing or something watch these movies and realize this is more than worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Very cool stuff.
It's been a great show so far.
I've been enjoying myself. I love that Infected. I can't wait to play that some more. We've still got the legs here. These are great. So it's not that far.
And Alex, take some phone calls?
Yeah.
Ryan McDonald, you ready to take some phone calls?
Always ready.
All right, cool. We have 3 phone calls queued up, and I lost my notes on what they're about, so hopefully we will hear them right now. GameSpot Complete members, if you want to leave us some voicemail messages about anything and hear your voice on this show, all you have to do is call toll-free 1-877-506-8324. Leave us your name, where you're from, your GameSpot Complete name, and you might hear your questions just like these people right here. Question number 1, please sock it to us.
Tournaments you guys are going to be planning to use, like if you guys are going to use any other games other than UT or Counter-Strike, just what would be your next game?
Ryan, I believe the question was about the GameSpot Tournament TV that you and I did last Saturday.
Which was fun.
It was fun.
That was pretty rad.
Yeah, did you watch it?
I watched some of that,
the whole thing?
I didn't know. That was like 3 hours, man.
No, let me tell you. It was like 4 hours.
Okay.
Ryan and I were here on Saturday. There's an 8-man finals of a 64-man Halloween Frag Fest of UT 2K4. It was a lot of fun. I learned a lot about the game over the course of the 4 hours that we talked about it. The competition was great. Ryan, when is the next tournament coming? What game is going to be involved?
The next tournament, they say next week we'll have the details, the full details. Right now, they told me that we can say that to expect to have the tournament the week of the 14th, and that'll be for Day of Defeat.
That's like mid-November.
That is correct.
So if you're not playing
good call.
Yeah, you can play DoD. And will we be there again? Do we know yet? Or is it,
I think they're talking about having this one on a Friday, and so if it's a Friday, that's cool.
Maybe a little shorter.
Yeah, maybe a little shorter. Yeah, I mean,
Cool.
What, 4 whole solid hours of watching UT 2004?
At the 3 hour and 30-minute mark, we got a 10-minute break for pizza.
Nice.
Which was nice before we came back for the finals.
Pizza break's always nice.
It was needed.
Refreshing.
And what's also needed is another question. Can we hear question number 2, please?
Caller, go ahead.
This is Jeremy Yerby, also known as the Raging Gamer from Trussville, Alabama. Just want to ask if you think it's likely that Monolith will bring Fear over to the Xbox 360.
Speculation. I can speculate.
All right, speculate.
Go.
Well, let's see. They got Fear, right?
Yep.
And didn't they're somehow connected to the Condemned, right?
Well, they're making Condemned. I mean, it's a different publisher.
But that's the thing, though. Yeah, Condemned's for Sega and Fear is for VU.
However, Condemned is also coming out for the PC.
Is it?
It could go either way. We know they like the next gen hardware. We know that they like PCs as well. I could see Fear coming to it, but at the same time, I'm sure that at this point, the Monolith team is much more interested in just cranking out some new games.
When I edited that, I cut his question a little short. He said the reason why I was wondering is because some people out there don't have the PCs that can handle Fear, but they want to play Fear. And I totally agree with you, Jeremy. I do not have any.
Fear is harsh.
Who can handle
Fear is
right
roughneck. I have a really top of the line computer, and Fear puts it to the test.
It's funny because I had it run on my machine at home, and I mean it looked awesome. I was playing Fear. I was like right on. And then I came in here and got one of the super whammy ones to get some footage for a project we're working on. And I couldn't believe it. It was like, I thought I was living good, but yeah, you got a good PC. It looks great.
Cool. So hopefully maybe we'll be on the Xbox 360.
So the answer is,
we'll find out. All right, question
number 3.
Hey guys,
Hey.
My name is Chris from Lenoka Harbor, New Jersey. My question's about Black. Is Black coming out on PC? And your show rocks. It's unbelievable. Thanks, bye.
Well, thank you for that.
Thank you. Yes.
And no.
Let me take the second part of the question. Yes, the show does rock.
That's true. It wasn't really a question.
Oh, okay.
He wasn't asking, does the show rock?
Will Black come to?
No.
No?
Next question. I'm just going to say no.
Is it no?
I'm just going to say no.
I'll say, but that game, it looks wicked sick.
It does, but right now it's PS2, it's Xbox. They're not even saying. I mean,
Do those guys even make any PC games at all?
No, Criterion is purely a developer of console games. I would be highly surprised. There's been no word of PC. I'm just going to say no. No.
Cool.
No to
I'll
black.
join you on that.
That
I'll say
doesn't.
no.
That, what's that?
I'll say no too.
All right.
Good. Thank you for that. Backing me up.
I'll go with. If you want to hear your question just like those folks, 1-877-506-8324. As we said, 506-TECH is what it spells.
Nice.
Yeah, isn't it something?
That's easier.
It is.
I have to try to read it off the screen.
Although 877 kind of tricks you because you used to call 1-800 numbers. 1-877 sounds like you're calling North Dakota or something.
Yeah, I don't know anyone in the 877, so I never pick up that on my caller ID.
Yeah, no. All right, let's wrap this show up, shall we? We have some winners to announce and some prizes to give away. What you want to do first?
Let's announce last week's prize winners. We gave away what? Call of Duty 2?
We gave away 3 copies of Call of Duty 2 for the PC and 4 copies of Resident Evil 4. Ryan, I want you to give us the answer to both these questions. First question was, what level were you guys playing Call of Duty 2?
Why you gotta put me on the spot? All right.
On the spot.
It was a bunch of. It was a title that meant dudes running.
There's Rangers Lead the Way.
Rangers lead. Thank you.
That's totally, actually, I think the direct translation is dudes running. Rangers lead the way.
The first 3 people to answer correctly were GameSpot Complete members. Well, the full mailing address were, Ryan?
Nathaniel Rohr from Alberta, Magnus Krantz from Sweden, and Joe Francisco from Wisconsin. Congratulations.
That's a great name, Joe Francisco.
Joe Francisco's pretty good. I don't know. I'm Magnus Krantz.
That's another good one. All right.
Sweden, I'm loving it.
Ryan McDonald, here's your second chance.
Okay.
Redeem yourself.
We gave away 4 copies of Resident Evil 4 for the PlayStation 2. And the question was, name how many games and what are the games that Ada Wong has appeared in the Resident Evil series. What is it?
It is Resident Evil. So the answer is 2 games.
Yes.
Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 4.
Who's the big winner?
The big winners are Tim Sullivan of Connecticut, Brian Dudas of North Carolina, John Suchara of Michigan, and Jason Buell of California.
Big winners.
Big winners.
Resident Evil 4 for the PS2.
It'll be in the mail soon.
Cool.
We have the RE4, so we'll send those out like tomorrow.
That's great. You get that fast.
We're still waiting for them. We're still waiting for a bunch of other stuff too. And I know people are really like, where are our prizes? We just imagine as much as you ask us, we ask the people who are supposed to send us them more. So that's how many we'll get them.
We want the prizes too.
Yeah.
Well, we have more prizes, don't we?
We do. We had 2 great games on the show today.
We had great games.
We had Infected, and we had NBA 2K6 for the 360. We're giving away 3 copies of each.
What?
Yes.
But it's an Xbox 360 game. That's not even out yet.
I know, and Infected isn't out either because we're only in the beginning of November. It's mid-November. So
crazy.
When we get them, we will ship them out.
This is our first next-gen giveaway, isn't it?
It is.
That's wild.
It is.
This is exciting. I'm excited.
I'm excited as well.
Let's ask basketball question.
All right, the basketball question. I talked this over with Anthony and Brian while you were doing your Infected demo. The question I'm supposed to ask, NBA 2K for the Dreamcast, the voice, the announcer, what is his real name? The color guy?
The real name of the color guy from NBA 2K.
The color commentator for NBA 2K for the Dreamcast. Not his character name that they give him, but who he actually is, and he's local. That's the hint.
Local to
us, Bay Area.
San Francisco Bay Area.
The Bay Area. Yeah.
Okay.
No,
there are other Bay Areas.
This is not the Hudson Bay Area.
There's other
the Hudson Bay Area.
so self-centered here. It's the Bay Area.
Exactly, the Bay Area.
You need to know what else.
Yeah, so the first 3 GameSpot Complete members to give us a mailing address and the answer to that question will win themselves copies of NBA 2K6 for the Xbox 360. I want a trivia question for Infected.
Name the character from another Majesco game that can be unlocked in Infected. Thank you for that, Rich. First, I was able to keep my focus on that too.
That was covered in your demo?
That was covered in the demo.
Sweet.
It was discussed on the show on a character from another Majesco game can be unlocked in Infected. Name the character.
Cool.
First 3 people, GameSpot Complete members, full mailing address, full name, all that jazz.
Is it Jaws?
Dude!
No.
Okay. But still, you're throwing off. It's one less option people can guess.
Okay, I'm sorry, but Ryan McDonald, I want you involved in the trivia.
Okay.
Like we do. Here's the tricky one to give away.
Okay.
5 passes to game. Ryan, what is game, and how can we? I can't believe you guys are still showing that. 5 passes to game, please, Ryan. Talking to us.
Okay, so 5 passes. So for the people that will be in the San Francisco Bay Area between December 2nd, 3rd, or 4th, any of those 3 days, if you're going to be in the area at that time, or you currently live here now. If you want to pass, go ahead and send your name, your full mailing address, and tell me this. What does GAME stand for? It's a really easy one.
There you go.
It's an acronym.
Cool.
Look it up. There's actually a page if you want to know the answer to it. I think all of our game pages are going up right now during the show and certainly after. So
Backstage Guru Craig actually asked that you also include your birth date.
Oh.
Your birth date because we don't know if you can play the M-rated games while you're there. So. Yes, Bay Area, December 2nd through the 4th. Full name, mailing address. The answer to Ryan's question. Really, don't put that over my face if you guys are going to show that there. Ryan, can you tell us what game is, though, for people who don't know?
Totally.
Talking about it.
There's this crazy thing we're doing. It's going to be called Game. It's the...
Don't say it.
Okay. But yeah, it's this really cool thing. At the Moscone Center, we're going to have basically this big production. There's going to be all kinds of crazy bands, the Hieroglyphics. There's going to be tons and tons of games. Some, of course, from 2005, and tons of anticipated games. So if you want to get your hands on Xbox 360 games, that's the place to do it. Plus, there's going to be a whole bunch of cool stuff, and then we're going to be there. We're going to be doing.
We're
stuff
so
on
going to be
stage.
there. There's going to be us there like all the time.
I'm going to be there.
You'll be there. Really? Okay. Homer will be there too. Yes, but it'll be a lot of fun, and it's going to be a great time. You want to hang out with us?
We'll be in Moscone Center, 2nd through the 4th. Come and hang out. It'll be awesome. There's going to be games. There's going to be music. I think ninjas.
It's like a whole experience.
I think ninjas will be there.
Dude ninjas?
Dude ninjas.
For more information on the game, go to experiencegame.com, or there's a page for it up on the site. Seriously. Dino, you are off the crew. You are so off the crew.
Viral marketing, man. Come on.
That's it for us this week.
We're done.
This is a great show.
We are so done.
But I'd like to thank everyone for watching as always, but I'd also like to thank the great folks at 2K Sports for bringing by the Xbox 360. I'd like to thank the wonderful people at Majesco and Planet Moon Studios for bringing by Infected on the PSP. And am I forgetting one?
I'd like to thank you for hosting this awesome show today.
I'd like to thank you for hosting. You were here almost more than I was.
It was great. It was a great show.
Ryan, you did well.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for showing that up, Jason
Ocampo.
Ocampo.
For showing up. And we'd like to thank EA for hooking us up with the footage, of course, of NBA Live 06. For more footage on that. What's that? What am I missing? All right, anyways. Next time we'll be here. I totally just got thrown off my game right there.
I messed you up. We're gone.
Yeah, we are so.
Thank you for watching,
and we'll see you next week right here on the spot.